What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie, and we are back in the War Room. Congratulations. We took a little vacay to MCHQ last week, but we are back in the War Room. So I got to say what's up to everybody that's joining us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitch, on YouTube. If you're not familiar, my name's Mistress Carrie. Nice to meet you. Welcome to my war room, which is in fact a room in the house that has all of my family's military memorabilia, all of the things I brought back from my trips overseas. And most importantly, especially during the pandemic, this is where the bar is. So we get together every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern right here for a drink. We've been doing it since March 14th of 2020. We did 80 nights in a row through the height of the pandemic. And then when we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast, we turned the War Room into a weekly place where we talk about music, we talk about life. I get to check up with you guys and see what's going on. You guys can ask me questions. There's always a lot to talk about because, well, the world of rock and roll is a very busy world and there's a lot going on. So here we are. Got to say what's up to Ash and Eric and Marcy and Carol, Jonathan and Bish, Lisa and Alexis, and also Kim is watching. Denise and Mr. Cole are here, Donna and Jonathan, Jessica. And if you're new to the War Room and you're wondering what the hell is going on behind me, allow me to introduce you to my co-host. Come over here, you two. Come here. Over here. That's Friday. Come on, Wednesday. Do you want to come this way? Come on, over here. Friday, say hi to everyone. Sit down and be nice. Let's show everybody how beautiful you are. Oh, so you can find the pugs at Wednesday the Goth Pug on Instagram. Friday is being a little camera shy right now. Come over here. Come here. Come over here. There she is. Say hi to everyone. I know that your little sister is being a pain. There she is. Look at that face. Oh. So there's usually pug wrestling, then pug napping, and pug snoring here in the War Room normally. So that's what all of the ruckus is. So I apologize. Lots going on in music to talk about. And also later on in the show, if you want to win tickets to see CHEVELLE, Asking Alexandria, and Dead Poets Society this Sunday night at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway, I have tickets to give away. So there you go. Mr. Cole said, Hailstorm was a great show, even with the thunderstorm. Thank you so much. So Hailstorm opened up for Volbeat in Massachusetts. They actually had a bunch of shows locally. They were up in Maine, they were in New Hampshire, they were in Massachusetts, and the Hailstorm set got called a little short. Rain, it doesn't affect anything. However, if there's lightning, whether it be a sporting event, a concert, they're going to delay it out of safety, and they're always going to cut time off the openers to make sure that the headliner gets to play a full set. So, hold on. Here. Sorry, the pugs are wrestling. So Hailstorm in Massachusetts got their set cut a little short. Lizzie Hale took to Instagram to thank everybody that went to the New Hampshire show for dealing with the extreme heat and sweatiness. The hotter it gets, the smaller Lizzie's outfits get, which nobody's complaining about that. So I'm glad you guys had fun. There were a bunch of Mistress Carrie backstage pass holders that actually went backstage and met Hailstorm. And, hey, will you stop? They actually sent me some pictures. I got to get those up and show me your MC because I'm a total slacker and didn't do it tonight. So I will do those next week. Alicia says, thank you so much for the meet and greet. Lizzie was amazing. Sherry said, Bish, happy early birthday. So we'll get to your birthday soon. Sherry, you can't wish Keith a happy unbirthday yet. It's too early. Mr. Cole says 40 is still a youngster. Jessica said Filter just came out with their new album. Yeah, there's a ton of new music we got to talk about, including a bunch of new releases that are coming out this Friday. Double Horns Time says Travis. So we got to thank you guys for hanging out with us. And, well, the tug of war wrestling match is happening over here. So the first thing I want to talk about this week is last week we had some technical difficulties, and I got to the bottom of it. So Instagram has begun limiting the length of a live stream. You are no longer allowed to stream longer than an hour on Instagram. So last week when we were hanging out in the war room, and also when we were, we were hanging out in the war room, or in the studio, I should say, in MCHQ, the quality of the feed started to get weird. That was because Instagram cut the live feed on Instagram, and the computer was still trying to connect to Instagram, and it screwed everything up. So I have to keep my eye on the clock now, because we're going to lose Instagram in an hour moving forward for the war room. So I need to not let the show run over an hour so we don't lose everybody on Instagram, and so that Instagram doesn't screw up everybody watching on YouTube, Twitch, and on Facebook. The second thing I want to tell you guys about is you may or may not have seen some stuff that I posted online. Over the weekend, I took a quick 36-hour trip out to Denver because my bonus daughter is starting college. And so I, like a lot of people that I've seen online, including Dan Donegan from Disturbed, this weekend moved somebody into a dorm to start their freshman year of college. And so I wanted to make sure that I got to take part in this whole thing. So even though they drove all of the stuff out to Colorado, I took the easy way because I couldn't be gone that long after being in Rome. And so I just left for the weekend and flew out to Denver and helped her move into her dorm, which was hilarious. I will tell you that anybody that is anybody in the war room right now getting ready to move their kid into a dorm? Because I have tips if you need tips. If you have somebody that you are helping to move into college that are going to be living in a dorm or moving into their first apartment, maybe it's their sophomore year or whatever, I definitely have some learning that occurred. Now, I moved into my dorm a long time ago, and the kids' parents are military parents. So for me, it was this big nostalgic experience because I remembered moving into my dorm my freshman year of college. And me and my roommate are actually still really close. Even though we were from different states, we had very different taste in music, different lifestyles, different nationalities, different upbringings. We remain really close. She calls me Roomie. She always has. She's the only person that calls me that. And so I'm so excited for my bonus daughter to have this experience. And so we got out there with the cars filled with stuff. And the first piece of dorm information that I want to give you guys is bring a tool bag. My dorm was so small, we had to sleep in bunk beds because there was no way to have two beds in that room and desks and, room for the closet. This particular setup, she's in a double room and there were two twin beds, and you had the ability to loft the beds to raise the bed up higher so that they can basically turn the under the bed space into like an extra storage / closet space. So the bed was already set up for that. There are some places where the bed frame is just fixed and you have to buy risers. These beds actually are made to be able to raise them up so that you can store stuff underneath. However, these beds have been through many a move in and many a move out, and we needed a persuader, otherwise known as a mallet, a wrench, pliers, to be able to get that bed exactly the way we needed it. So potential college parents, make sure you bring a bag of tools with you because you're definitely going to need them. Kathy says, moved 7 kids into dorms, 7 different universities. Kathy, God love you. I just did my first one and I was like, oof. Jessica said, when my dad worked for the railroad, they paid for the education, which was very cool. That is awesome. Let's see. Bring a tool bag. Are you sure you want to invite Keith, says Bish? Not Keith the tool bag, just a bag of tools. How is that? Let's see. Carrie, did you hear about the jets that flew over Chicago, did a low pass over Wrigley, making all of us and all of the players shit our pants, says Eric. I did not hear that, but that doesn't surprise me. Anybody that's been a witness to a low flyover knows exactly how loud that can be. Keith says, yep, always bring a hammer. Yeah, we brought a rubber mallet. We needed the hammer. Are you saying hi to everyone? Why are you being so lovey right now? Huh? What? Oh, you can sit here if you want. So we definitely needed a tool bag. We also had to make a list. So in the tool bag, measuring tape. We did not bring a measuring tape with us, and we needed it because we had to make a run to go and buy all of these storage options that we did not want to buy because we didn't know what kind of space we were looking at, and we did not have a tape measure, so we were eyeballing stuff. Luckily, everything we eyeballed fit where we wanted it to go, but if you're packing to help move in the Northeast, the move-in for college is closer to Labor Day weekend. And my bonus daughter opted to move in a few days early because she was coming from out of state so that she could get settled. But bring a tape measure, bring tools. You're going to think you're not going to need them. Zip ties, all duct tape. You're going to need all that stuff. And there are a lot of how-to guides now online about tips to help kids move into their dorms. The power strips that sit flush against the plug, not the ones that have the plug that stick out, but the ones that bend down so that they can go behind furniture, those, and also painter's tape, because you're getting whacked pretty good with security, like the damage waivers that you have to sign to move in to your dorm. And so there's a lot of tips about, I saw this great one online where you put painter's tape on the wall and put paper clips behind the painter's tape. And then you can use magnets to attach to the paper clip through the tape to hang posters and stuff. And then obviously the Post-it little sticky things and all of that stuff. But just some tips, because we had to make, I think, 3 Target runs and a Walmart run, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we needed stuff. Needed a tape measure. Hold on. Let me unzip. Bish. Christina said, what? Your husband didn't have a whiteboard with everything that you needed to bring? Don't even talk about the whiteboard, because the girl that moved in across the hall put a whiteboard on the front, like on her dorm door. And he was like, see, she knows. My bonus daughter actually packed really, really well. The tape measure was the only thing in the tool bag that we didn't have. And for the most part, it went really smoothly once we got the bed together the way that we needed it to. There were a couple tense moments. The kid's mom left because we were getting sweaty persuading the bed, but what are you doing? But we finally got it together. Everything was great. The other thing is a mattress pad, because all of these dorm beds are like hospital beds and they're in like a rubber casing. So you need a mattress pad, or the egg crate foam or something on top of it, because otherwise it crinkles. You don't want to sleep on top of that. So just some tips. Keith says, got that 2-inch measurement down, he says. Hey, MC, did you get my email, says Michelle. I don't think I did, Michelle, unless you sent it like an hour ago. I don't think I got it. Eric says the jets blew out the windows near the beach. What's up, Steve? Says, it's so great hearing you again. It has been a while. Glad I found you. Steve, keep watching the show, because I'm going to run down all the radio stations that you can hear me at, all the places you can listen to the podcast, and I'm going to have free CHEVELLE tickets to give away. So be listening for that as well. Hold on one second. Mr. Cole says, I hope you can slow down and rest up some. So I flew back late Sunday night because I had to get back on the air. It took almost an hour to get my bag. They checked my carry-on because there was no more room in the overhead compartment. It took almost an hour for my carry-on to come out on the turnstile. So by the time I got home from the airport, it was like 3:30 in the morning, and then I had to just start working. So yesterday was a little rough, Today I feel much better. And yes, like that's the whole reason that we took the vacation to Rome when we did, because we knew that things were going to get crazy with the kids going back to school and with the seasons changing and all the yard work that we have to look forward to. But yes, I'm hoping that things, as the concert season starts to wind down, that we're going to be able to relax a little bit. So going to be stuck here at work until around midnight, and I have been here since 7 a.m. Damn double headers, says Eric. Ugh, I totally get it. So, by the way, I just want to send out a little shout out. Go Rams. We spent a lot of money at the bookstore at the school. But we all got new gear. So go Rams. And I hope that my bonus daughter has an amazing freshman year of college. I remember, so many of the good times that I had living in the dorm. I'm still really good friends with all of the people that I lived in the dorm with my freshman year. We're actually in a private Facebook group and a text thread. And we try to get, even though people live all over, like there's somebody that lives in Oregon, there's somebody that lives in Florida, there's some that live in New York and New Jersey, some live here in Massachusetts. But the friendships that I made in the dorm have lasted all these years later, which is pretty special considering how long it's been. So what's up, Will? Let's see. Michelle says, few days ago, it was about the grandbaby. Michelle, I was out of town, so I think I missed your email. So can you resend it for me? Thank you very much. So that was the weekend. I will tell you guys, I told the Backstage Pass holders a little bit. If you ever have to go to Colorado for any reason, most likely you're going to fly in and out of Denver. If you drive about an hour north of Denver, the town of Fort Collins is there, and they have a section of town called Old Town, which that part of downtown Fort Collins was built like in the mid 1800s. And it's Colorado, right? So it's a little funky, it's a little weird. But the main drag of Old Town Fort Collins is awesome. They had these great secondhand stores and like clothing recycle stores. I actually picked up a couple vintage concert t-shirts, fantastic restaurants, really cool bars. There's a basement speakeasy in Fort Collins called Social that the girl at the thrift store, while she was ringing me up for my retro concert shirts, told us to go there, and they had amazing drinks. I had the most delicious charcuterie board, and we ended up sitting at the bar, and like we were like on the corner, and the kid sitting at the other corner was wearing an AFC championship, like an old school AFC championship Pats jersey. And I could tell that he was not old enough to have bought that shirt when the game actually happened. So I said, did you thrift that shirt, or are you really a Patriots fan? And he said, actually both. My parents thrifted it for me, but I'm from New Hampshire. And I was like, no way. What are you doing here? And he's like, I'm pre-med here. And then as we were talking, the people in between us were also from Massachusetts and had just graduated last year and had opted to stay in Colorado and get jobs. So it was really weird that like there was this whole little corner of this really cool speakeasy that was all New Englanders. And it was because of the thrifted AFC championship, like old school throwback Pats jersey. And when I say old, it was probably from like '03. But looking at him, I could tell he was not old enough to have gone to that game. So I knew something was awry. Let's see. Go bonus daughter, says Marcy, and go Rams. Shane says, been to Fort Carson in Colorado Springs a few times. Yeah, there's some really cool towns out there, but I loved all of the... like the family owned like restaurants and all of like the really cool artsy stores and stuff. It just, that part of Colorado was very, very cool. Let's see. Eric says Bill Murray is in here tonight. He is wasted and being rude to our security, getting into verbal fights, putting the I'm Bill Murray bullshit excuse. Eric, no way. Where are you right now? And Bill Murray's there drunk? I love the fact that you're working, by the way, while you're hanging out in the war room. I think that's fantastic. All right, so that was the weekend. Wanted to fill you in on all of that. Wednesday has left the building, and now I have a snoring Friday over here. So for anybody that's joining us in the war room that said, hey, I missed your voice, I'm glad I found you. There's a bunch of places you can listen to me on the radio because the Mistress Carrie radio show, still a thing. You can hear me every weekday from 10 to 3 on Charleston's Best Rock, 98 Rock in Charleston, South Carolina. You can stream the station at my98rock.com, and you can also listen on the free 98 Rock app. And the 98 Rock Lunchbox is an hour's worth of theme music every weekday at noon. Today, celebrating National Aviation Day, it was all songs about flying. And if you say to somebody, give me a list of songs that are just about flying, it's going to take you a minute because you don't realize how many there are. But the whole lunch hour today was all about flying. What's the theme going to be tomorrow? You got to listen to find out. You can also hear me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 on 100 FM The Pike in Worcester. Coming up, Rockfest at Indian Ranch on September 6th. And this week, you can win tickets to see CHEVELLE and Coheed and Cambria this week on my shows. So you can download the Pike app, or you can listen straight through the website at pikefm.com. You can hear me every weekday afternoon on 106.3 The Bone, which is Portland's rock station in Portland, Maine, 3 to 7 every weekday afternoon. You can listen through the Bone app, and you can also stream the station at 1063thebone.com. And most recently, Mornings with Mistress Carrie on Laser 99.3 and 98.5, everything that rocks in Springfield, Mass. The 90s at 9. We do that every weekday at 9 a.m., giving you 3 songs from the 90s at 9 a.m. And those are all request driven. So if you got a good one, let me know in the morning on Laser. And speaking of Western Massachusetts, if you do listen to my show on Laser, there is this deal. You can win. You can get the Laser Wine Passport. It's $150 in value to 3 different local vineyards in Western Massachusetts for just $75. So it's basically doubling your money. If you're a wine person, or you have a wine person that is having a birthday or an anniversary, this is a great way to double your money. And they're available at laser993.com. Michael says, where's Tuesday? We don't have a Tuesday yet. Today is Tuesday. I have a Friday over here and a Wednesday in the other room. Bish says, losing 3-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Let's see. Mark says the Bone Zone. Eric says, I'm working with Jed Hoyer in the Cubs organization. It's a slow night when you get all your work done by noon, and we'll be here until midnight. Uke is somewhere here as well. We love us some Uke, don't we? Bish says, sleep. What is that? Shane says, the idea of wine gives me a headache. I get it, but I'm always trying to find you guys deals. So there you go. Got confirmation today that there 100% will be a Mistress Carrie booth at the Silver Scream Con 4 this year. That's happening September 12th through the 14th at the DCU Center. It's the 4th annual Silver Scream Con. Ice Nine Kills putting the whole thing together. If you are a lover of horror and gore and metal, this is for you. And the Saturday night, the DCU Center Arena is going to be the host of Ice Nine Kills and Dayseeker and the Funeral Portrait. Tickets for that show are on sale now. That ticket is separate from tickets to the 3-day Silver Scream Con, and they keep adding to the list of the horror movie stars that are going to be there signing autographs and stuff. But there will be a Mistress Carrie booth there, so make sure you come by and say hello. So that is September 12th through the 14th. And then on September 20th, you can join me at the Johnny Appleseed Festival in downtown Leominster. There's going to be a big Mistress Carrie booth set up for that as well. Okay, we have been slacking on the cocktail recipes, so we're going to do that tonight. So tonight, it is going to be a Xanthia cocktail. We go through my cocktail books. We've been doing this for 5.5 years on and off, trying to up all of our mixology game. By the way, that place Social in Fort Collins, the speakeasy that I went to, had the biggest liquor selection I've ever seen in a bar ever. They are putting it in they're making a book that you can like get about all the different liquors and all of that stuff. And I had this amazing mezcal drink with like homemade grenadine, and the mezcal was super, super smoky with lime juice. It was delicious, but I've never seen a liquor display on the wall behind the bar or list that they actually like gave you in this leather bound thing. It was unbelievable. A Xanthia cocktail is an ounce of cherry brandy, an ounce of yellow chartreuse, and an ounce of gin. I know we have an anti-gin rule, but there are people here in the war room that love gin. It says, stir the ingredients in a mixing glass, strain into a martini glass, and serve. That's called a Xanthia cocktail. So there you go. Will says, are you going to be set up at the Johnny Appleseed Festival? Yes, there will be a big Mistress Carrie booth set up at the Johnny Appleseed Festival, which is in downtown Leominster, Massachusetts, coming up on September 20th. Recapping last week's podcast episode 271, featuring Matt Bigland from Dinosaur Pileup, and the story about what happened to him through COVID and since is pretty unbelievable. If you are not aware, in like 2018, 2019, the guys from Dinosaur Pileup had this huge song on the radio called Backfoot. They were touring with Shinedown and Bush, and they were breaking. It was a huge opportunity for them. And then Matt started to not feel well. Then COVID hit and Matt got really sick, and they didn't know what it was at first. Then he was misdiagnosed with Crohn's disease. He ended up in the hospital. He almost died, and come to find out he has ulcerative colitis. He talked a lot about it on this episode, talking about the isolation, that they had to completely suppress his immune system in the middle of the pandemic to try and treat the ulcerative colitis because he couldn't eat. He was losing weight. He was in the hospital for over a month. And when he got discharged from the hospital, he had to completely isolate 100% because he had no immune system during COVID. And the other thing he talked about is that he met and was dating a girl named Karen, or he calls her Kay, and they went 10 months without seeing each other, only through FaceTime. And they're married now. He put up a string of Instagram videos with pictures through the whole ordeal. Just a really, really unbelievable story of perseverance, overcoming significant illness. And now the guys from Dinosaur Pileup are back. They're releasing a new album this Friday called I've Felt Better, and they're out on the road. So if you missed last week's episode, number 271, featuring Matt Bigland from Dinosaur Pileup, you definitely want to check that out. Shane says, quick fun story, Silver Scream 2. I fell in the parking lot, knocked myself out, left in an ambulance, got a ride back, and got to my truck at 2 a.m. Oh my God. Walter, get the glasses. She's bringing out the cocktail recipe for the first time in a fucking long time, says Eric. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget to find a recipe. Sometimes I forget to hit the button. It just is what it is. Cocktails, why do you know any, says Tom. Jake wants to know, what am I doing at the Apple Fest? So Johnny Appleseed was born in my hometown of Leominster, Massachusetts. So they have a big fall festival. It's not just an apple festival, but it's hundreds of vendors. It's restaurants. There's live music. It's family, everything. And I was voted in last year as being a member of Legendary Leominster. There's even a banner of me in Leominster, being someone that's from the city. And so they asked me to set up a booth. And so I'm going to set up a booth. The apple crisp is kind of amazing too. So I'll have a bunch of merch for sale. I'm going to be playing music and just hanging out, taking pictures with everybody, and just hopefully enjoying a great fall day in New England. So that's what I'm going to be doing in Leominster for the Johnny Appleseed Festival. Let's see. There should be a cocktail named the Johnny Appleseed. Tom, you might have to come up with one. I have made several drinks with like apple cider and stuff, but maybe we'll try to work on one. A signature Mistress Carrie like Johnny Appleseed fall cocktail would be great. So that is last week's podcast episode. New episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast come out every Wednesday. This week, Rain Maida from Our Lady Peace is my guest. Those guys are out right now opening up the Summer Unity Tour with Collective Soul and Live. Our Lady Peace celebrating their 30th anniversary. And they also just released their song, Whatever Redux. Because back in the day, I mean, we're talking almost 20 years ago, Our Lady Peace wrote the song Whatever for wrestler Chris Benoit, because the guys from Our Lady Peace are from Canada. Chris Benoit is from Canada. So they wrote his entrance song. If you are not aware, Chris Benoit ended up killing his wife and child and then killing himself. And so for almost 20 years, the guys in Our Lady Peace have refused to play that song live because of the tragedy that happened. When they were getting ready, and this is all in the podcast episode that goes live at midnight, when they were getting ready to put this 30th anniversary tour together, they were asking fans online about the set list. And fans were like, we understand why you don't want to play Whatever, but we really miss that song. We really love that song. So the band decided to re-record it. Rain decided to change up some of the lyrics, and now the version is called Whatever Redux, and all of the proceeds from the new version of Whatever are being donated to mental health and suicide prevention causes, which are pretty spectacular for the band to do. Keith said, missed last week because my son had college orientation. Totally feel you, Keith. Right there with you. Bish says, apple crisp is my kryptonite. I can devour it like no other. Yeah, it's delicious. And the fact that we are like weeks away from full-blown apple season in New England, I can't wait. There is a Johnny Appleseed cocktail, says Keith. Okay, well, here we go. So episode 272 of the Mistress Carrie podcast with Rain Maida from Our Lady Peace goes live at midnight tonight. If you want to check out the Mistress Carrie podcast, there's a lot to listen to. Weekly full-length episodes every Wednesday, and then every Monday through Friday, you get a short 5, 6, 7-minute podcast called The Sit Rep, which runs down all of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates. And it just fills you in on everything you need to know, and then you can get about your day. So you can listen while you're making coffee in the morning, while you're driving the kids to school, while you're in the shower, because some days you're going to get a little bit of a longer shower than others, but it's 5, 6, 7 minutes long, and you get the sit rep. And then there's 1-minute sit rep versions that you can hear on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine, and also on Laser 99.3 and 98.5 in Springfield, Mass. Hi. What are you doing? Did you just come back to say hi to everyone? Or you just want some attention? Yeah, I know. We love the pug snorts. I know. You have to let me hit the buttons though, okay? Can I hit the button? If you're trying to find the Mistress Carrie podcast, it's very easy to find. Basically, every podcast app, you can find it. Just search the Mistress Carrie podcast. When you see that logo right there, you know you're in the right spot. You can listen to the episodes, full-length episodes in the sit rep on YouTube, and you can listen through the Pantheon Podcast Network. And if all else fails, just go to mistresscarrie.com and just find the episode you want to listen to and hit play. I made it that easy for you. Holding strong at 149 countries. That's how many countries are listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast. Sorry, I don't know why my little head was over Italy. It should be over the east coast of Massachusetts. There we go. Okay, let's talk about birthdays. We know that Bish has got an early 40th birthday. If today is your birthday, you're sharing it with Joey Tempest from Europe, Ginger Baker, John Deacon from Queen, and Ian Gillian from Deep Purple. So happy birthday to you. Happy unbirthday, Keith. I'm going full-blown Cheez-It tonight. A little spiked iced coffee. Fantastic. Mr. Cole says, Carrie, are you at Polar Park this week? Not that I know of. Carrie, what about a cocktail named Johnny Apple's Seed? Interesting. That's a good one. Let's see. Denise, are we losing you? Denise is at the Joe Perry Project at the Wang tonight. Oh, Denise, have so much fun. Joe Perry, there's footage up online of the Joe Perry Project shows. He's been playing Black Crowes songs. He's been playing Stone Temple Pilots songs, Aerosmith songs, obviously blues standards. The Joe Perry Project is at the Wang tonight in Boston, at a Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom tomorrow night, at Foxwoods in Connecticut on Friday, and then next week at Fenway Park opening up for The Who. So have fun, Denise. We want a full recap. Okay, let's give away some tickets. Speaking of concerts. Coming up on Sunday, CHEVELLE, Asking Alexandria, and Dead Poets Society are going to be at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway in Boston. If you would like a free pair of tickets, and this is first come, first serve, so you got to act fast, go to mistresscarrie.com, click the Message the Studio button. In the subject line, write CHEVELLE, and send me your full name and your email address and your cell phone number, and I will send you a pair of free CHEVELLE tickets for Sunday night show while supplies last. So they're going to go in order of the first email I get, and I'm just going to send out tickets until I run out of tickets. So if you want to go and see CHEVELLE this Sunday night in Boston at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway, go to mistresscarrie.com, click the Message the Studio button, put CHEVELLE in the subject line, and I will send out as many tickets as I can. I just realized that one lucky winner is not going to win Hailstorm Meet and Greet because that was for Hailstorm and the ticket giveaway last week. So there we go. So if you want the CHEVELLE tickets, they are up for grabs, but you got to get in there fast. All right, we got to talk about some music headlines. The biggest thing was that over the weekend, the BBC in England was supposed to premiere a Ozzy documentary called Coming Home. Now, a few years ago, before Ozzy realized that he was not going to get better and was not going to be able to tour anymore, the Osbournes were going to move back to England. This was before Kelly Osbourne and Sid Wilson from Slipknot got pregnant and engaged. And so the Osbournes cut a deal with the BBC, and the BBC was going to follow the Osbournes around as they packed up their house in LA and as they redid their Buckinghamshire historical home in England, and they were going to document moving Ozzy back to England. Part of it was retrofitting the house because he had already been diagnosed with Parkinson's. So then as Ozzy continued to get worse, they realized that this was not going to be a docuseries and that Ozzy was not going to be able to go out on the road anymore. And they kept filming anyway with the permission of the family. And what they decided to do was turn Home to Roost, which was the docuseries, into Coming Home, the documentary. So they've been filming all the way through, the back to the beginning, all of that. Obviously, Ozzy passed away, and so now there is this big push to get this Ozzy documentary on TV. The problem is Paramount Plus was filming their own fully authorized movie about Ozzy, and now Paramount Plus and the BBC are in a race to get their documentary out first. The Osbournes are worried that in the race to get the movie out first, that the quality of the movie was going to suffer. And so the Osbournes, Sharon, at the last minute over the weekend, told the BBC, we're not giving you permission to air this movie. We want you to go back. We want you to slow down, and we want you to make this movie as good as it can be, which the BBC agreed to do and released a statement today saying that they are going to reschedule the premiere, but we don't know when yet because they are going back and they are reworking the movie. There's been no word yet on when the Paramount Plus movie is coming out. So that's why that Ozzy doc got pulled at the last minute over the weekend, because Sharon put her foot down, which is something that I talked to Rain Maida from Our Lady Peace about. We were talking about festival experiences, especially in the 90s, and Sharon Osbourne and Ozzy came up in the conversation. So make sure you're listening for that with the brand new episode. All right, some shows that are coming around at the end of the month at the TD Garden in Boston, 9 Inch Nails. Next month, Eric Clapton and also Bryan Adams are still left. We're like in the thick of the busiest part of the concert season right now. We were just talking about the Silver Screen Con. The concert is happening on September 13th. On September 23rd, Sleep Token is playing the DCU Center, completely sold out. And I read an article today that's talking about the exorbitant prices that people are paying to try to get into these 18 Sleep Token shows that sold out almost immediately across the United States, including the DCU Center. Everclear, celebrating the 30th anniversary of Sparkle and Fade, is going to be at Big Night Live in Boston on October 21st with Local H and Sponge. Also, From Ashes to New and Magnolia Park are going to be there in November. Those tickets are all on sale, and all of these concerts are up on the concert page at mistresscarrie.com. Remember when the Xfinity concert list was like this whole page? That's how you know we're getting towards the end of the concert season. Billy Idol and Joan Jett are going to be at the Xfinity on August 23rd, Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace on September 11th, Falling in Reverse, the God is a Weapon tour on September 13th, and the Rise Against tour with Papa Roach and the Rise of the Roach tour with Papa Roach and Rise Against and Under Oath on September 14th. Then there is Sully Erna's show at the Mohegan Sun. That's going to be an acoustic solo show. And Sully Erna also took to social media to say that he has a golf scramble that is happening this weekend at Mohegan Sun Arena. And they just made some affordable foursomes available for that golf scramble. So if you're a golfer and you want to hang out with Sully, he has got a golf scramble happening at the Mohegan Sun Arena, or at the Mohegan Sun Casino and Resort, the same weekend that he's going to be playing solo acoustic on the Mohegan Sun patio. George Thorogood is going to be at the Lynn Auditorium coming up next month. Also, Bryan Adams at Mohegan. The Lemonheads, who are back together, are going to be at the Wilbur at the end of November. And Heart is going to be at the SNHU Arena and at the Toyota Oakdale Theater. Those tickets are on sale now. Those shows are happening in December. And I would assume by then, we're going to get the announcement about when the Heart biopic is coming out and who is going to be playing the Wilson sisters, because that movie is actually in production right now. My Chemical Romance is going to be at Fenway coming up on the 7th, and we were already talking about The Who playing Fenway Park on the 26th with the Joe Perry Project opening up at Family Friendly Fenway. The Palladium in Worcester has got Mushroom Head on the 12th of October, Guar, Atreyu, plus the one-day, all-day New England Metal and Hardcore Festival that's happening at the Palladium outdoors. It used to be a weekend-long thing inside. Now it's a one-day thing outside. Garbage is going to be at Roadrunner in Boston on September 18th. And again, all of these shows are up on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Chevelle is this weekend at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. Next month, Alabama Shakes, plus Seether, Daughtry, and POD in October, Mudvayne and Static X, and Cage the Elephant before Halloween. Those are all shows headed to the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. And the House of Blues in Boston, right across from the MGM. Bruce Dickinson on September 11th on his Mandrake Project solo tour. He gave an interview already. He's already working on another solo album. He said next year is going to pretty much be all about Iron Maiden, but that he is already working. I think he said 18 demos he's already got done for yet another solo album that I believe is going to exist in the same graphic novel universe as the Mandrake Project. Avatar is going to be there at the end of November, and Nothing More coming in February. Jessica says, is Trent Reznor still the lead singer of Nine Inch Nails? Trent Reznor is Nine Inch Nails. There is no Nine Inch Nails without Trent Reznor. It is his band. Chris says, Carrie, I wish you were at Pantera. They killed it. I know. I was on vacation in Rome. Otherwise, I totally would have been there. I saw them open up for Metallica, and they were fantastic. I think this tour is great. And it's great because there are a lot of people that love Pantera's music that never got to experience it live. As someone that got to experience the original lineup of Pantera, I totally appreciate why people are going to these tours, but I wasn't as upset about missing that show because I got to see Pantera with Dimebag and Vinnie Paul. And so I'm happy that the legacy and the music lives on, but I was eating pasta in Rome. That's why I missed it. So the Paradise Rock Club, I've got more shows coming. We're going to update that list very soon. City Winery has got Cold. They're doing like this unplugged, totally different arrangement of shows at City Winery on October 27th. So those tickets are on sale now. And then Session, which is the Dropkick Murphys and the Pogues, their weekends long Irish music. It's food. It's a culture festival. That's happening at the stage at Suffolk Down, and also Turnstile and Iggy Pop are all going to be there in September as well. New releases coming out on Friday. The Deftones' 10th studio album, Private Music. Dinosaur Pile-Up's new album, I've Felt Better. Dizzy Reed releasing Rock and Roll Chose Me. Also, the Goo Goo Dolls' Summer Anthem, the EP, John Fogerty's Legacy, the Creedence Clearwater Revival Years, Oasis, the complete studio album collection, the Smashing Pumpkins' Machina, the Machines of God 25th Anniversary reissue, 3 Days Grace, Alienation, The Warning live from the Auditorio Nacional. There's also a live concert movie that got made of this as well. And The Who, live at the Oval 1971, are all out this Friday. Mail call. I apologize because I didn't have this last week, but I got this card and it says, "Hey, Mistress Carrie, I found this skull in West Virginia. I thought of you. I'm glad you had a wonderful time in Rome. Someday, love, Carol." And I told you, Carol, last week that between you and Denise, your biscottis, the pistachio biscottis and the anise toast biscottis, I did not have a better biscotti in Rome. And I'm not just saying that because you bought me this amazing skull. But Carol sent me a big thing of her pistachio biscottis. Look at the skull. Like, it's like me without skin. How cool is that? In West Virginia, of all places. I have no idea why there is my ever-growing skull collection that is being fed by truck stops nationwide, but I'm here for it. So, Carol, thank you for the lovely biscottis and thank you for the badass skull. I just have to decide, do I want to put that skull in MCHQ or do I want to put it with my skull collection in the dining room? Because, yes, I have a skull collection in the dining room. I talked to you a little bit about it last week. The reflective beanies have been ordered. T-shirt Brian is making them as we speak. And also, I rode with Mistress Carrie helmet stickers and Property of Mistress Carrie bumper stickers have been ordered. And then there's some other cool stuff that is coming to the online store for the fall. But these two specifically have already been ordered and should be here within the next week or two, which I'm super excited about. Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass holders, you know we get together every month. That I take you traveling with me. I give you travel updates, exclusive ticket giveaways. Right now, Backstage Pass holders have access to Chevelle tickets this weekend and also Papa Roach and Rise Against tickets at the Xfinity Center in September. So if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you can just log into your account on Patreon and you know how to get those tickets. But you also find out who's going to be on the podcast before anybody else. You get the travel blog updates, early access to event information. So if you don't have a Backstage Pass yet, you can go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie and get one, or click the Patreon logo. Social media and all of the radio station radio shows you can listen to and all of the radio station apps. Carol says rednecks. Thomas says, "Hey, butt scratcha." Hello. Let's see. Bish says, "I am definitely getting the first reflection hat." Bish, this was all you. So I can tell you that it's a black beanie. It does not fold up like the beanies that I already have. People have asked me for a beanie that just sits flush so they can wear it under a helmet. But what it does have is a gray stripe around the beanie that is made out of reflective materials. So the entire beanie is not reflective, but it has a sizable gray reflective stripe across the top with the Mistress Carrie logo on the hat. So, Bish, this was your idea. I wanted bikers to have something with a reflectable, especially if you're not going to wear a helmet. But I also wanted people that are going to be jogging and stuff at dusk or at dawn. So, Bish, this was all you. Thomas says, nothing like a little head. Chris says, Carrie, you should do old school AAF Carrie stickers. Chris, I cannot do anything with the AAF logo. It is still owned and property of the old company that shut the station down. They own what's called the intellectual property. So they still own the logo. They still own the call letters. They're not doing anything with it, but they still own that. They own the website. They own the social media pages. So what I did was I took the property of Mistress Carrie AAF stickers, the round sticker with the barbed wire, and reconfigured it to take the AAF logo off so that I could make new ones. So that is the stickers that have been ordered, but I cannot do anything legally with the WAF logo. I can't produce anything because I don't own the logo. It's copywritten and they own the copyright. So is there any news on Jelly Roll other than he's down 200 pounds and he said in a recent interview that his motivation is to get down so that his weight allows him to skydive with his wife. That's his goal, which is pretty badass. So, and we are up over 4,000 members of the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group on Facebook. So if you're a veteran, if you've got a veteran in the family, if you work for a veteran-owned company, if you volunteer for a veteran nonprofit, if you are the loved one of a veteran that is looking for resources and support, or if you're just looking for a volunteer opportunity because you're a civilian and you want to give back, this public group is for you. The Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group is a great place to learn about veterans nonprofits, events, resources. If you've got questions about resources, if you own a veteran-owned company, then you're looking to get the word out. If you are hiring veterans right now, or if you just want to get involved with all things veterans, go on Facebook, search the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group, and you'll just see all of the great stuff that's happening. There's constantly new events and fundraisers and resources and organizations. There's yoga and CrossFit, and there's Silky's hikes, and just all kinds of really great stuff. And I watch this all the time. I moderate this group, and it's only for veteran stuff. So don't talk about music there. It's not a place for all charity events. This is just for veterans and by veterans for veterans. So by all means, if you are a veteran and you're looking to get the word out on your business or your organization, if you have volunteer opportunities, if you're a veteran looking for a job, post in the group because there's always places that are looking to hire veterans there. So can't wait for my birthday on Saturday, the big 4-0. Let's effing go, says Bish. Happy birthday, Bish. That's badass. All right, guys, that's it. We are hitting our hour mark before Instagram cuts off the live stream. I don't know why they limit live streams to an hour now, but that's why we started losing the internet hookup last week. So I just got to be aware of the time so that it doesn't kill the feed on all of the platforms. So what's up, Christine? She said, hey, Carrie, watching on YouTube. I forgot it was Tuesday. Curious how many still keep 107.3 as a preset, says Chris. I kept it for a while. And then I hit the button by accident and it broke my heart. So I had to get rid of it. But a lot of people have told me they have just left that preset and they just skip over it because if you hit that button, it's nothing nice. It's not good. So there you go. So Sherry says, good night, family. Ash says, Bish, happy early birthday. Make this year or make this a great decade. I'm trying to make the best of the last of my 30s. I'll be 40 in June. Guys, I can tell you this, and I've told you my philosophy on aging. Am I happy about getting old? No. Am I going to fight it? Yes. But Bish, I hope that you can look at this milestone in your life and remember that getting old is a privilege and a gift. Wrinkles are a gift. Gray hair is a gift. Stretch marks are a gift. Achy joints is a gift, because we all know people that should have grown old and they never got the chance to. So embrace turning 40. Embrace the idea that the older you get, the less you are going to focus on what other people think about you, and you can actually just live your life the way you want to live it unapologetically. And that's how we should all be living. It's just, for a lot of people, it takes getting older to figure that out. So happy early birthday, Bish. We love you. And guys, don't forget, episode 272 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight tonight, featuring Rain Maida from Our Lady Peace. And I'll see you guys next week. Friday, do you want to say goodnight? No, she's snoring. Good night.